Are we up and running? Fandavidosi. Right, here we are. It's London Film and Comic Con. It's Sunday. We're on the second stage, and we're going to talk all things, well, Star Warsy stuff, Life Universe and everything. We have our guests. We've got Nick. We've got Jonathan.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Brian, my co-host.
Nice to be here again.
Right. So, first things first. I understand, Nick, it's your very first convention.
It is. This is my first one. Yes. So it's nice to start at the top, I think.
How's it going? And the big question is your autograph different to your signature, or vice versa?
No, mine's the same. So if you find my checkbook, then you'll be able to.
That was the point of the question.
I don't think you should have said that.
No.
You should have said that. No. And how's the show going for you guys? Going well?
Yeah, it's brilliant actually. It's my first show in London.
Yeah.
I've only done 4 Comic Cons before.
Yeah.
This is by far the biggest, and I'm having a really good time. Yeah. I've met some great people, some very enthusiastic people. Love Andor.
Yes.
Which is brilliant. And we'll love Andor too when it comes out next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a fabulous experience.
We can't say too much about Andor 2, but what we can say is what we've seen of it looks absolutely fantastic and very in keeping with what we saw in the first one, such a high level of quality. Without, again, I don't want to lead into any avenues we shouldn't, but the experience of being involved in it. Were you in Andor 2 as well, Nick?
I can't say.
Okay, so we'll
We can talk about Andor 1.
Okay, that's perfect. The experience must have been fascinating going back and doing these things a second time, you know, with the wonderful reception to the first season.
From what I've heard, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't see a lot of the main characters and supporting characters from season 1 of Andor coming back into season 2.
Yes.
And quite possibly a lot of characters from Rogue One that you would probably what you would expect to see, because it's no secret that Andor ends where Rogue One begins.
That's right.
So I'm not giving away anything by saying that.
You're definitely not.
Because you all know about that. But that's as much as I can legally say.
No leading questions, don't worry. Everyone's obviously very excited about season 2 of Andor. But season 1, we can talk about season 1.
Yeah.
You guys both, you had the coolest costumes.
It was great. It was so nice to put those costumes on. When I went for the fitting, I didn't really know what character I was going for, and so to see those white uniforms all there saying, I thought, I hope one fits me. I hope one fits me, and I'm not too big for it. And they replaced me with somebody else. The only problem I had was the boots. That was the worst thing ever. I could not get them off. So I don't know whether you helped, but there was quite a few nights where I had 3 people trying to get these boots off me.
Exactly, that was the ritual at the end of each stage of filming. Yeah. It was like helping each other off with the boots, because you just could not get them off by yourself.
Peter Cushing didn't have this problem, so he wore his slippers. Yeah. But I'm not in his calibre, I'm afraid. So you would need to wear those boots.
Were you happy then, not knowing where the park was, find out you were going to be in Imperial? Definitely.
I mean, I sat there the first day, and they played this. Actually, again, it was a look, wasn't it? Because they sat us down in the seats, and my friend Keith sat next to me, and you sat the other side, and then we were told that the main actors were coming in, and they needed space for the main actors. So unfortunately, my friend Keith was removed, and he wasn't used again. He was used in a couple of scenes where we had the meetings, but. So it was a look of the draw that we were kept on, weren't we? Which was good. But I was just going to say, but then sitting there, it was like, I've been a big fan of Star Wars for years. So it was like I was sitting there thinking, if my 7-year-old self could see me sitting here while I was watching Star Wars in the cinema in 1977, 78, it was just surreal, really. Yeah, really surreal.
And being in that white costume, in that white uniform, again, it's very reminiscent of that Death Star scene with all those characters.
Well, they wanted to make it retro. They wanted to go back to the looks in the first trilogy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Star Wars films afterwards, they were asking Imperial officers to have very severe German soldier type haircuts. But in this particular series, they asked us to grow our hair and grow our sideburns because they wanted to go back to the original feel. And a lot of the props they used and the sets they used were very in place with the original trilogy. So it was nice to actually go back where it wasn't. They weren't trying to be overly high tech. They just wanted to stick with the original, how the original 3 episodes came out. And it was amazing to be a part of, I've got to say, it was brilliant.
It's a great aesthetic to go for, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the process of filming, when you're in that room, obviously, we don't see what you see, but you're in this fantastically designed room. All you guys are around there, in place, looking serious. It's nice meeting you guys for real, because you couldn't be friendlier or warmer, but those guys,
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of comedy stuff, really. I'm into comedy things, and I've just been on stage playing Grandpa Joe in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in a musical, singing and dancing, so that's been great fun. But I look at myself up there, I think, you look really stern, but we had to, didn't we? We had to. But it was fun. I mean, there were some comical moments when we were filming.
The fun thing about it in between the sets, Anton Lesser, who's a great joker anyway, and Denise is such a lovely person. Sorry to name drop. But in between takes, we were just all messing around, having a laugh. But then as soon as it was action, it was the serious face on and down to business. But in between the takes, it was very light-hearted and a pleasure to be part of. Yeah.
And Anton was so good with his lines, wasn't he? I mean, he had these long speeches that a lot of the time I didn't know what he was talking about, because it was like all stuff with these names and places. But he was spot on every single time, wasn't he? There was no sort of, we've got to go back. He just did it. It was brilliant, really good to watch.
So, what was the selection process like for you getting that part, and what is it you think that made them pick you?
The check clearing?
Well, I know what it is with me.
Is it the same?
I played a German officer many times. SSGB TV series a while back, Nazi megastructures, Hitler's Circle of Evil.
Yeah.
So I've got that look about me.
Yeah.
It's the blonde hair and the blue eyes.
Yeah.
So I've been an Earth Knight, also Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny, Commander officer in that. So I've got this Nazi look about me. So it's a natural progression to go from Earth Nazi to Space Nazi, and that's pretty much it.
And I've played a lot of MPs, so that might be
So again, you're on set. You mentioned that there's lots of levity in between the takes. Do you think as actors you've got to get in the zone? You're a serious guy. There's galactic issues at stake. But as actors, do you need that kind of release in between takes? Just let it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, because you can be on there for like 2 or 3 hours without a break, can't you? And there's so many different angles that they want to do. You have the odd sort of break where they change the camera angle, but a lot of the time you're on there for quite a long time, aren't you? So you do need that sort of light-heartedness to come out.
Yeah.
So,
and when they're filming these sequences, because they're dotted throughout those first 12 episodes, throughout the first 12 episodes, how does it work for you guys? Are you filming them all in a block? Or are you going in, coming out, going in, coming out?
It was pretty much, I'd say, a lot of the boardroom scenes were pretty much done within a week. 5 or 6 days of filming, and we did film them in blocks. There were different days. We had to move around seats just to mix it up a little bit. And a few actors were coming in, a few were going out as the story progressed. So basically, we didn't stick chronologically time-wise. We probably did most of the episodes in maximum 2 weeks, probably. Yeah.
Well, we did have COVID in the middle, didn't we? So that was the problem was, I think, because when we were filming, we had to go down to Pinewood. If we were filming on the Wednesday, we had to go down to Pinewood on the Monday for a COVID test. Then we had to go again on the Tuesday before we were allowed to film on the Wednesday. So we did spread it out quite a bit, didn't we? So I think we did. I did about 5 or 6 weeks.
I can't remember.
You can't remember, you see?
I can't.
I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks because we had to keep going back, didn't we, and doing bits and pieces. But brilliant.
Just from a practical point of view, you mentioned the COVID thing, which obviously affected everybody, but especially actors because of the process you have to go through. Is it? I would say back to normal. It's a new normal. But how are things now? Now we've kind of got past it. Do you still have to go through processes in regards to that?
It's back to normal.
Back to normal.
Yeah. I know there's a strain going around now. So whether they might introduce a few measures on film sets, but as far as I'm aware. No one wears masks on sets, there's no protocol anymore. So filming has just got back, and it's just picked up again because they have the writers and actors strike. There was a bit of a lull for a couple of months, but now everything's really kicking off. All the studios, all the major productions are starting to film again.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get really busy, which is a really good sign.
I was going to say, it slowed down for everybody. It's picking up now.
Although I'm on a production at the moment which we've had to stop because the main actor's got COVID. So we're going back next week to start again.
Wow.
So it is still out
there. Yeah. So, sorry, Rob.
I was going to say, you mentioned that everything sort of being not in this sort of timeline sequence. So, especially with Andor, as everything sort of intensified as each episode went on, how do they start conveying that to you on set so that you can have an understanding about how your sort of look and feeling and actions?
It's difficult because we didn't know how many episodes we were in. I think we were in 6 altogether over the 12. But you don't really know what episode you're in, and as you say, you don't really know what order you're in. I remember there was the big emergency meeting where we had to rush in, and so that we knew that was tense, but we didn't really know where we were in the series, really.
Well, basically, the director would come in and explain exactly the situation to us. Andor was getting too big for his boots, things were building up, we need to get things under control. So he did explain, the synopsis of the film. So we knew to that extent, but obviously we didn't know the wider picture.
Right.
So it wasn't until I actually watched it where everything, basically, all the stuff that we did started to tie in. So so we didn't know the whole picture. You're quite right.
No, and watching it was great because we didn't know when we were going to appear in the story. And it's like you're going to watch this episode and this is where we did this bit. And we went on to, I think we were in episode 12. I think we were in the last episode as well. So we sort of went through the whole sort of thing, watching it like you would really. So.
And as fans, when you're watching these things back, can you detach yourself enough to just kind of just watch it, or is that's where you're happy to watch yourselves? That's another thing.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes, isn't it? Especially for my wife, because I sit there going, "There's Jonathan in that one." They're saying to me, she goes, "Shut up! I'm trying to watch this." So,
a lot of the time I had to watch it twice because a lot of the time I watch what's going on in the background. I don't watch the main actors. I watch everybody in the background, and then I have to watch it again because I'm missing the main stuff. Because I'm looking at the people I know. Okay, just like Nick said, but it was a fantastic watch.
Oh yeah.
I only actually saw it about 3 months ago.
Right.
I didn't see it straight away, and I binge watched it in 2 days, and I thought it was absolutely amazing.
Oh, it is. It really is. Yeah, it really is.
And they sort of changed a little bit how they're doing the television for Andor as well, and they kind of stepped back to a lot more practical sets, actual locations. Does that help you sort of feel more immersed in the scene?
Yeah, I mean, the set that we were on was a complete set, wasn't it? There was no sort of CGI above. Sometimes you do half a set and then the top's green screen. The whole thing was the office, the room. So that was, so you do feel as if you're, on this planet, in this room.
Yeah.
We did do one day on location, didn't we? At Canary Wharf. We went out and did a night shoot. So we were out on Canary Wharf doing it. But that was the only time we went out.
But the village that was built just outside Marlow, they used green screen for the far hills and scenery in the background. But the village itself, I didn't work in the village in person, but I know a lot of people did. Yeah. And they said the attention to detail was absolutely amazing. And I would hate to think how much it would cost to put together. I couldn't even guess.
No.
Because it was millions and millions it would have been to just put that village together. So
It's interesting that now, like Ronnie alludes to, some of the films and TV shows are made with the full sets, as you say, and others are using the volume, which is a totally different experience altogether. So whichever way you come at it, you're completely immersed, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I did Wonka as well, so I did 5 months filming on Wonka, and they built the whole town square and the buildings and the gallery gourmet was just amazing inside. You just think to yourself, the amount of money it must cost, and then all of a sudden they just knock the whole thing down. It's just terrible, isn't it?
But you're right, it does help, because if you're just filming on green screen, you do not get the atmosphere that you would on a purpose property set. So you're absolutely right. So if you're working on a set that actually exists, it just brings it
sort of tangible. You walk around the corner.
It just makes you feel that you want to perform more, because you know You're not just staring at a green wall.
Yeah.
You know, you're actually in the place where, and it's so realistic. You could actually be in this village. So yeah.
You've both been in a lot of franchises. Through my extensive research, it's all good presenters do. You know, you've been in Batman, you've been in Wonka, as you mentioned, Fantastic Beasts, Dial of Destiny, of course. So there's all these different franchises, big franchises you guys have been involved with. Just stepping back to Star Wars briefly before we delve into those. Is there a difference with Star Wars? I know that the fan attention is different, the details are more looked into. Do you think there's a tangible difference? There's not every franchise that we get a chance to sit here and chat about it.
Yeah, well, being a big fan of Star Wars, I know how people react to it really. So yeah, I mean, this is probably the biggest that I've been involved with as a franchise. But as I say, yeah, I have done it. Did all the 3 Fantastic Beasts films. Mary Poppins Returns, that was great fun to do, and Wonka. Peaky Blinders, I've done as well, which has a lot of good fun.
It'd be wrong if you weren't in Peaky Blinders.
Can you tell I'm from Birmingham?
Just a bit.
Okay. From where are you from?
Oh, Burwood, nearby.
Yeah, not fun. Yeah. So.
And Indiana Jones, I mean, it didn't get the love it deserved, but I think it's starting to get it now. It's been respected and admired more than what it should have been when it came out.
Yeah, well, yeah, 2 things when I got into this. The child in me wanted to be in Star Wars, and also the dream of being an Indiana Jones film. And I never thought they would make another one. And to be in it and to be playing a Nazi, I think that's probably, I'd even say that's slightly above Star Wars, I've got to say. Because it's just something I've had. Basically, it wasn't so much the production. There was a whole group of us that took to Newcastle. We stayed in hotels in Newcastle.
Right.
They took us up, it was night shoots, 6 night shoots at Bamber Castle. I'm sure you know where it is. And it was just a group of lads all together, running around the castle, getting blown up, seeing Indiana Jones getting dragged into the castle, driving around in German Second World War vehicles. I mean, what's not to like? So so that's definitely going to go down. It's been very difficult to top that.
I was going to say, you played an Earthbound Nazi, you played a Space Nazi, but you didn't play a Nazi in an Indiana Jones film. Your career would be complete. So this was the cherry on the top, in a sense.
Well, jokingly, I'm known as, to all my friends, I'm known as the UK's #1 go-to Nazi. So if I wasn't in Indiana Jones, I would have to be personally writing to someone to say why I was named. So, but luckily, I didn't have to do that.
You're okay. You're the nicest guy, so I think you can get away with it.
Oh, thank you.
What do you on set? Costume. I mentioned it earlier. You've got fantastic costumes in the Star Wars stuff you've done, but across all the different projects that you've done. If you had to pick a costume, this might sound like a wild impression, but if you had to pick a costume, just I was so pleased with this costume. It just feels like the coolest thing. Which one do you think you've been in?
Your Willy Wonka stuff?
Yeah, the Willy Wonka stuff was great. It was all period and made for us. Oh, I was in Loki as well.
Yes.
I played the TVA judge in Loki. That was a great outfit. That was made especially for me.
Right.
So you don't normally get them made especially for you, but that was measured and made. So that was nice to wear that. But yeah, I don't know. I think probably Andor. Yeah, I think so.
Because of the type, the slide back to seeing that stuff.
I think
I say I had to think about this, but it probably is Andor. Yeah. Because I remember when we got called in, we didn't know, they gave us a code name. Yeah. So we didn't know what we were going to be. And I was hoping I knew what I was going to be. Yeah. And then they took us in, and we had little cubicles with curtains. So they'll come with me, Jonathan, this is your cubicle. Pulled back the curtain, and there it was. It was like the Holy Grail. So, and I just go, right, I'm not going to grin like an idiot from ear to ear. I'm just going to stay cool. But I knew the guy dressing me, Michael, because I've seen him on other productions. Yeah. And as he was dressing me, I said, I'm not going to lie. I said, I'm so super happy. And so I'll say, because of the iconic nature of the uniform, it's the ISB Officers.
That is very cool. That is very cool.
We're in a real boom in the UK at the moment in terms of film and TV productions, and all the huge franchises are coming here. And you look out today and you see sort of the creative people out here, people who have a passion for film and TV, and maybe themselves they want to get involved. So how did you start off? What was your sort of entry into the industry? if someone wants to sort of follow and do what you guys are doing?
Well, I've been doing it for 38 years, since I was 16. It was one of the first things that I ever did was something called the Monocle Mutineer with Paul McGann. We filmed at the Black Country Museum, and I was 16 playing this soldier. But I've always done acting, I've always done stage stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of people, so I've been in it. When you first started, you had to have an equity card when I first started, so it was catch-22. You couldn't do the background work if you weren't doing, if you hadn't got your equity card. You couldn't get your equity card unless you could the acting. So when I started, it was quite difficult to get into it. Nowadays, I mean, how long have you been doing acting?
Well, nowhere near as long as you. I've been doing this is my ninth.
I know I'm younger than you as well, aren't you?
You're younger than me. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, well, 9 years, and basically how I got into it, I was dating a girl at the time. She was signed up with a couple of agencies, so I got signed up with a couple of agencies. Then work started coming in, and I was in a really boring job at the time, working in retail, and I had to make the decision between stick with a boring job, whereas the money was okay, or follow my dream. And it was a mate of mine, I spoke to a mate of mine, and she said to me, what happened to the man that never took a gamble? Nothing. And I said, you know what, you're right. If you don't make a gamble, then nothing's going to happen to you. So I walked out of my job. I literally just walked out of my job. Didn't know whether I'd make enough money doing this. And 9 years later, here I am, talking to you guys. And Olympia with my mate Nick Owen. So there you go.
Not too shabby, is it?
No.
You've got on your CVs, I've noticed, 2 films I'm very interested in. Nick, you were a part of Poppy's Most Wanted. Yes, and Jonathan, you were part of Red Dwarf. Now they're both other franchises with fantastic followings. I'll start with you, Nick. Poppy's Most Wanted. Tell us a bit about your work on that.
Yes, that was a funny couple of days. We were in the art gallery when the paintings get stolen, and I'm one of the police. I can't remember if they were German police or whether we were, but that was another uniform that I thought I'm never going to get in this and I'm going to get cut from the job. But no, that was great fun seeing them being, it was the Eagle, I think, the Eagle in the scene that I was in. To see them performing was great fun, yeah. So, but yeah, another great franchise, yes. So
we just spoke to Mike Quinn on the other stage, who of course was a great puppeteer. So seeing that on there, so I'll ask you about that.
It was brilliant watching them do it, yeah. So.
And Red Dwarf, huge following for Red Dwarf.
Yeah, I was in season 11. There was a big gap between season 10 and 11.
Yeah.
Again, it's something else that I didn't think I'd be in, but an agent, Ray Knight Casting, contacted me and they said, got a job for you, what are you doing next Tuesday? Playing a dead scientist. So I thought, okay, it's money. Yeah. And I didn't know what it was, so I turned up to Hyman Studios, and then it transpires it was Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
And I turned out being anything but a dead scientist. It was a scene with the main characters. It was called Twintica. Right. Where technology had been banned in the future, and I was one of the scientist smugglers that were trying to load up the vans with toasters and things like that. And then the police come in, smashing up the toasters, and all the 4 main cast are there. One of the scientists gets shot, and then me and this other guy drag this guy off in front of the main characters. Yeah. So what turned out to be me thinking I'm just going to be lying on the floor as a dead scientist turned out to be an absolutely fantastic day. So never turn down a job because you think it's going to be boring. So that's my advice.
Well, life has treated you very pretty well so far. Turning up in Star Wars never a bad thing, is it? So, any final words before we say goodbye to the crowd?
Just thanks for having us here. It's been great. I've enjoyed it so far, and I'm looking forward to this afternoon. We're upstairs if you want to come and have a talk to us. Anything about anything, we'll talk to you.
What Nick said.
There you go. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Big round of applause. Thank you.